Krásný hezký večer, zdravím vás u poslední dnešní hry, to bude Forgotten City. Což je hra, která, no teď jsem jistý, ale myslím, že Skyrimu. Kdy vy vlastně cestujete časem, je tu jakoby město, kde všichni se změní v zlato. Vychází to z řeckých bájí a tak. A je to hodně ukecaná hra. Se na to aspoň podíváme.
Hey, you're alive. When I dragged you out of the river, I thought you were never gonna wake up. I checked your pockets for ID, a phone, maybe. I hope you don't mind. But all I found... Oh. Wanna tell me who you are?
Pleti a jménem samozřejmě Levak.
Well, it's nice to meet you. And I'm sorry to pry, but... Any idea why you were floating down the river? What's the last thing you remember? It does look like you took a pretty hard blow to the head. You're just lucky you've been given a second chance. Which is why I feel terrible for what I'm about to say, but I have a favor to ask. There are some ruins just behind you. Roman, I think. I need you to go in there and see if you can find a guy named Al for me. He went in there a few hours ago, and he hasn't come out. I've been freaking out, wondering if he's trapped, or injured, or worse. I would have gone in after him, but he made me promise to stay here, no matter what. There's no way I'm leaving without him, so I'm just kind of stuck here, waiting. What I mean is, I was hoping you wouldn't mind going in there to find him? If you can do that, I can get both of you back to civilization in my boat. Please? Oh, of course. Sorry, I don't mean to be pushy. I just... What do you want to know? What am I, an idiot? You could hike a long, long way in any direction and never find another soul. Trust me. Great. So you're ready to go look for Al?
Jdem hnedka do toho.
Thank you. The entrance is just past those columns behind you. Please, hurry. Oh, and he left this here. But I think you'll need it more than I will.
Voda, sůl, ocet, cukr. A pepř případně. Se podíváme, co tu máme.
If you're reading this, it means I've discovered the entrance to an ancient Roman city hidden. If you're reading this, it means I've discovered the entrance to an ancient Roman city hidden deep underground. Its existence is long forgotten. All knowledge of it lost, except in the Latin inscription here. It reads, "You who wish to enter the city, step forth and be judged. The virtuous shall be rewarded with eternal life in paradise. The wicked shall find themselves showered in gold, but in vain, for this shall be their final resting place." Could an underground city have remained a secret for all this time? Could people have survived down there, against the odds? It seems there's only one way to find out. If I'm not back in an hour, I'm somewhere on the other side. Consider this an invitation, or a warning. Alworth.
Co se bojí? Se nedostanu.
To whoever reads this, I'm sorry you had to find me like this. And worse, you'll suffer the same fate I did. I've spent a lifetime in this place, going around and around in circles, searching for a way out. The inscription was right. There is no way back. And here there are only two options. Death, or that godforsaken doorway into the past. I made the mistake of stepping through it. I wanted to set things right. And I tried. I really tried. Whatever I did, it took me right back to the beginning. Don't make the same mistake.
Jo, má
Better to
se...
end it all now. And find out what awaits you beyond that portal.
Co pak tu máme? Průchod časem.
Salve, friend. I'm Galerius. Mind telling me who you are and what you were doing in the Shrine of Proserpina? Oh, is that right? Well, just make sure you don't get lost in any other sacred places you're not supposed to be. Can't have you disrespecting the gods by accident, can we now? But listen, most folk seem a bit confused.
Tohle město, kde nejde spáchat hřích, protože ve chvíli, kdy spácháte hřích, všichni se začnou měnit v zlato, takže...
In more ways than one. So, let me make this nice and simple for you. Live by our law here, and we'll all get along just fine. Not laws, law. There's just one, the golden rule, and the punishment for breaking it's... well, it's kind of horrific. But our magistrate insists we take all newcomers to see him, so I guess I'll let him fill you in. So then, you coming? Follow me. When I
Ano?
first arrived, I couldn't believe there were people living down here.
Sakra.
As you can see, we've got a nice little community now.
Stačí jenom pověsit, ne? Stačí pověsit?
Only 23 of us at the moment, if you count the three who are
Po
missing.
deváté.
No idea how, since nobody knows a way out.
Nebo na devátou,
It's
no.
just big and dark enough to get lost in, if you're not careful.
Aren't you going to introduce me to your pretty new friend, Galerius?
Keep it in your loincloth, Aurelia. I'm taking her to see the magistrate.
That pompous old bore won't be magistrate for much longer. Anyone who helps voting out today drinks at my bar for free tonight.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Okej, musím utéct.
Sisters!
Jo.
After everything we've built,
To jsem pokazil.
Salve, friend. I'm Galerius. Mind telling me who you are and what you were doing in the Shrine of Proserpina? I don't think so. I've never seen you before in my life. Oh, Bacchus, how much did I drink last night? Sorry to have bothered you.
No, upřímně jsem nečekal, že bude problém jen s tím, že něco ukradnu mimo záběr, že lidí, ale...
Just attach the pulley to the rope over the lake and hang on to the handles. If it works, it'll be faster than walking. And if it doesn't work, worst thing that can happen is you'll take a swim in the lake. I haven't quite summoned the courage to test it myself. But don't worry, it's completely safe. Probably. All right, see you around.
Okay. Nemůžeme krást, ale můžeme číst.
Just as the ocean accepts the rivers of all the world, so this place accepts all the souls. But it does not notice the crowds that come. There is only a downward path, gloomy with fatal yew trees. It leads through dumb silence to the infernal regions. They never do. The newly arrived are ignorant of the road before them.
Krásný hezký večer, Eresil, krásný hezký večer. Každopádně projel jsem dneska první část toho Lost Record. Doporučuji se na to podívat. Je to fakt dobrá hra, ale nesmí k tomu člověk přistupovat jako k Life is Strange. Má to svoji vlastní chemii. To je z velké části konverzační a zlodějská hra, tak uvidíme, jak to jde. Je to takové nudnější celou dobu RSL, ale jako příběh stojí za to, ne že ne. Jak říkám, není to Life is Strange, je to trošku něco jiného.
Don't you just love springtime? Ah, it's you again. Hope you're settling in, friend. Now, what's on your mind?
No to je tvoje.
As much as I'd love to get out of here, the harvest's always more fruitful in another man's field, isn't it? But Scintilla, Sentius's daughter, went missing a few weeks back. Could be she found a way out. If anyone knows for sure, it'll be her sister, Sentia. But she'd never tell the likes of me. All right. See you around.
Okay. Myslel jsem, že spadnu dolů a
Newly arrived are ignorant of the road before them.
že to doplavu. Nečekal jsem, že mi to sejme, když je to jakoby voda dole. Římské divadlo. Musíme jít výš. Máte tu možnost jezdit ziplinou. Docela velké město. Což na jednu stranu dobře, na druhou na škodu. Prostě nevím, kde jít a s kým kecat. Tady je ten.
Ah, it's you again. Hope you're settling in, friend. Now, what's on your mind? Well, as much as I'd love to get out of here, the harvest's always more fruitful in another man's field, isn't it? But Scintilla, Sentius's daughter, went missing a few weeks back. Could be she found a way out. If anyone knows for sure, it'll be her sister, Sentia. But she'd never tell the likes of me. All right. See you around.
Tady plavat jde, to je divný. To ne divný úplně, ale... Právě to, že z velký výšek nemůžete skočit, ale... Nemůžeme nikoho zranit, nemůžeme nic ukrást. Prostě jsme šli nahoru, teď půjdeme teda doprava. Zatím jsme narazili jenom na 2 lidi. A tady někdo je.
Hello? Hello? You're going to let me out of here? Really? Oh. Please. I hate it here. It makes me
Děláčel
very
smutného, jo?
I don't know. I don't remember things so good. I think it's just because I was looking for treasure. Yes, but I wasn't. I was just looking. They said I did it more than once, but I can't remember things so good. Then they called me mean names. They called me a liar, Billy. Yes.
Každopádně, jak zmiňuji, tak to Lost Record je opravdu jiného ražení než Life is Strange. Je to zábavné, jako hratelně mě to drželo. Nadpřirozená, ale až po nějakých 7 hodinách. 6-7 hodinách. I když nás tak jsou tam dřív.
My treasure. My friend Hannibal used to look after me.
Hannibal.
He said he always would. But
Rambory dobrý.
he died. It was very sad. He said if anything ever happened to him, I had to find something very precious hidden away. He gave me this key and made me promise to keep it safe until I found the treasure. But I couldn't find it. All I remember is he said something about the cisterns, but when I went up to the high one, they put me in here. Now nobody looks after me, except my friend Galerius and Ek, the priestess lady.
Vajíčko.
She's a nice lady.
Těžké vajíčko.
Bye bye.
Jsme se tu hlavně porozlídneme, až potom budeme mít ty rozhovory.
You have to do something. A man arrived in the baths. A real nasty sort, with his face all covered up. And he's got a weapon. You have to do something, or he's going to break the golden rule. None of us do. The magistrate made us throw them all into the chasm. So now this man's bow is the only one in the city. You'll just have to improvise. Are you daft or just callous? If you don't stop him, we're all going to die. Thank you. He's still in there, somewhere. I have to hide. Find me in this empty shrine when it's over. Hear what? What? We don't have time for this. I have to go. Ugh. The shrine! mine is collapsing.
Au, chudá holka. A život to už je život.
Fabia, no! Oh God, she's dead. Did anyone see that? The whole train just collapsed.
Stop right there. I'm looking for Tiberius Quinctius Crispus, otherwise known as Quinctius. Do you know where he is? I'm not sure I believe that, so allow me to explain something to you. I am here with orders from Emperor Nero himself to find and execute the cultist Quinctius for terrible crimes against the Empire. So, if you tell me the truth, I will allow you to live. But if you lie to me or otherwise obstruct the Emperor's business in any way, I will put this arrow through your chest. Is that understood? Thank you. Now tell me, who are you people, and what is this place? A small community. I was told Quinctius was a cultist, but I never thought he'd be foolish enough to lead me right to the heart of his mystery cult. Oh, don't play coy with me. I don't care if you're worshipping Bacchus, Magna Mater, or Christ. You lot are all the same to me. Always sneaking off to your secret sanctuaries, indoctrinating each other with your little mantras. The Emperor may have tolerated your activities up until now, but after what Quinctius
každopádně příští týden až do neděle budu mít docela v klid. Nebudu hrát žádné hry na stream, až v neděli večer zase. Mám všechno vlastně dohrané, takže...
So you admit you're not allowed to leave. Threatening me is not going to help you, but in any case, that sounds an awful lot like a cult to me. And I saw the inscription saying, "The many shall suffer for the sins of the one." I take it this is some kind of mantra you all believe? A distinction without a difference. You've clearly been indoctrinated into this nonsense. Now tell me, where did you lot get enough gold to make all these statues? You lot are practicing human sacrifice too. You people disgust me. Of course you'd say that, but that's what your kind do, isn't it? Our God told us to do it. It's all clear to me now. The secret sanctuary, the indoctrination, the mantra, the human sacrifice. You're cultists. There's no doubt in my mind. What baffles me is how a person can believe in something with such zeal. They just can't see what they've become. However, you still have a chance to redeem yourself by telling me where Quinctius is. Do not waste it.
Ne u mě, já jsem to zase tolik neměl Eresil, takže... A tenhle týden u mě pořádně nikdo zase nebyl, z těch nových taky nikdo. Ale dneska se na mě asi pár lidí dívalo, takže... OK, ten mě chce sejmout.
As a matter of fact, I do. Once I'm done with you and Quinctius, I intend to kill every last one of you wretched degenerates. And I can think of nothing I'd enjoy more.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Run! OK, to nevyšlo. Tak já tam nemám vyloženě kromě Pac-Mana nic moc zajímavého. A teda toho, jako doporučuji se podívat na ten Lost Record. Je to docela fakt zajímavý. Nakonec. Ne, já nechci umřít. Ten zapípaný asasin mě
Salve, friend. Mind telling me who you are and why you look like you've just taken on a gladiator and lost? I don't think so. I've never seen you before in my life. Oh, Bacchus, how much did I drink last night? Sorry to have bothered you. Of course. What did you want to know? Oh, I don't give it much thought these days. I mean, everybody here's got their own view about what to do to survive. But I say, let's spend less time arguing about what it means to be good.
Zas tak dlouho nemám, já takhle často nemám tak dlouhé streamy, takže.
It's a long one and kind of sad, but I don't mind telling it. I'm a farmer. Always have been. I grew up in a small village in Britannia, Camulodunum, with my parents and 2 little sisters. Lovely part of the world. One day, when I was about 20, my father and I were in the top paddock, loading our cart, when some Roman legionaries came along, demanding produce for their men. My father told me to
jako
and so I did. Sprinted so fast.
Výjimečně dlouhý stream. Já jsem dohrál fakt celou tu jakoby část toho Bloom. A konec mě docela překvapil, takže jako náznaky tam jsou, ale nějak jsem si to nespojoval, takže
More raiding started before too long. We'd come outside in the morning to find animals missing, our stores pillaged. These Legion thugs just took whatever they wanted. One night, when my sisters and I had nothing left to steal, there was a knock at the door. I knew who they were, and what they wanted. I got my father's old axe, pulled the door open real quick, and before that soldier knew it, split his face right down the middle. But there were more of them. I never saw how many, because the next thing I knew, I was waking up with a mouth full of dirt and lungs full of smoke. My home was reduced to ash. My sisters, dead. And they left me alive to see what they'd done. It still burns whenever I think about it. Yeah, well, I wasn't the only one this happened to. It wasn't long before Boudica led thousands of Britons in a rebellion against the Romans. Unfortunately, there were just too many of them. And those of us who survived, they enslaved. So, then I found myself being transported all the way to Rome, to be sold to the highest bidder. I spent a few years working for my new master, learning the Romans' ways, Romanized my name and everything. Tried to escape a couple of times, but they always found me. I'd end up right back where I was. I'd probably still be there too, if it wasn't for the stampedes breaking out. You see, about 7 months ago, an enormous fire broke out in Rome. Everybody was running down toward the river, screaming and shouting. I'd never seen anything like it. Human beings acting like cattle. I got swept up with them somehow, and the rest is a blur. The next thing I knew, some stranger was dragging me out of a river. Stumbled across this place and started my life over again. That's what I thought too, for a while. It seems the gods aren't done tormenting me. See, I finally had my own farm again, safe from the grasping hands of the Romans. Or so I thought. Until Sentius the Decurion demanded I hand over all my produce. It's for the good of us all, he says. Only he takes the best bits for himself, of course. He even told me if I refuse his demands, I'll break the golden rule. I'm not sure I believe him, but then, what if he's right? So, it turns out our dear old magistrate is no better than the Legion thugs who took everything from me. I'm right back where I began. But don't you worry, Nemesis is waiting, and he'll get his, one day. He'll get his. Forget I said that last part, will you? I get carried away sometimes. Thanks, friend. I knew I liked you. Anyway, that's enough of me rambling. Was there something else you wanted to talk about? Well, as much as I'd love to get out of here, the harvest's always but... Alright. Ah, it's you again. Hope you're settling in, friend. Now, what's on your mind? Alright.
Tady byla jedna ženská.
Just as the ocean accepts the rivers of all the world, so this place accepts all the souls. But it does not notice the crowds that come. There is only a downward path, gloomy with fatal yew trees. It leads through dumb silence to the infernal regions. Help me? You cannot help me. I have seen things. A pattern, a terrible pattern. It is better for you if you remain ignorant. Pandora's box must stay closed. I'll say no more. The bloodless shadows. This is their punishment. Help me. You cannot. It is... The bloodless shadows wander without flesh or bone. Some the house of the ruler of the dead. The newly... Cerberus lifts his triple head and lets out his threefold braying.
Livia, would you stop muttering like Medea over a cauldron? You'll scare away my customers.
They follow their trades, imitating their previous lives, but they are ignorant.
This again. You're in a world of your own, aren't you? Ah, you're here. I'm so glad you decided to visit. I'm Aurelia, and I hope I'm not being too forward, but the moment I laid eyes on you, I was intrigued. You're not like any Roman woman I've ever seen. Your skin is so beautiful, and your clothes are so exotic. Ugh, coming on a bit strong, don't you think? I take back what I said. Suddenly, I don't find you so intriguing anymore. Let's just forget that ever happened, so we can at least do business. So, what brings you to my tavern? You know, normally, I'd expect you to buy me a drink before asking if I want to get out of here. I guess that went right over your head. Never mind. As a matter of fact, I do know a way out. I'm happy to tell you all about it, but this is valuable information we're talking about, and I don't just give it out like some cheap oracle. So, how badly do you want it? Is it worth, say, 1,000 denarii to you? Simple. It's a one-way trip, and I'm not ready to go just yet. I like my life here. One day, maybe, but not now. Well, perhaps you could take out a loan. I understand Malleolus has lent money to others, on occasion. Certainly, for 10 denarii. How embarrassing for you. All right, see ya.
OK, půjdeme dál.
You stay away from my money.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Out of my way!
Hej, změnili jsme se ve zlato.
The newly arrived are ignorant of the road before them. Cerberus lifts his triple head and lets out his threefold braying.
Livia, would you stop muttering like Medea over a cauldron? You'll scare away my customers.
They follow their trades, imitating their previous lives, but they are ignorant.
This again. You're in a world of your own, aren't you?
Just as the ocean accepts the rivers of all the world, but they're...
Beautiful. Ugh. I take... Let's just forget. You know... I'm so... If I... Well... So... All right.
Okay. Tak, jsme na stejném bodě, co předtím.
You stay away from my money.
Okay, musím něco stýlnout, ale... To vyvolalo pro popach, takže... To není správná cesta.
Beautiful. Unless you want me to slip some hemlock into your next drink. Get out.
World. So this place accepts all the souls, but it does not notice the crowds that come. The bloodless shadows wander without flesh or bone. Some crowd the forum, some the house of the ruler of the depths. Help, it is the blood. The new...
Okay.
Oh, do us all a favour and drink hemlock, Caput Murder.
Hej, ve světě, kde nemůžu nic ukrást, je to nudný. Ty potřebuješ moji pomoc, ale kde seš?
The 49 melodies fetch again, with incessant labor.
Tady, co nové.
Keep an eye out for Scintilla, would you?
Greetings, citizen. My name's Horatius. Magistrate Sentius asked me to escort you to him personally. Follow me, please. Follow me. The only thing you really need to understand right now is the golden rule. Let me see if I can explain it this way. When I was serving in the Legion, if there was a mutiny brewing in one cohort, the legate in charge wouldn't waste time finding the bad apples among hundreds. They just divided us into groups of 10, made us draw straws, and whoever drew the short straw had to be executed by the other 9. Didn't matter whether he'd done anything wrong. One of us in 10 would die for the crimes of the collective.
Ah, tady bude.
We're finally alone. I assume you already know who I am. May I know your name? A curious name to match a curious accent. But I digress. Now, you're probably wondering why I summoned you, and I'll get to that. But first, take a look at this wondrous place, would you? A secret city built deep in the mountains, many hundreds of years ago. In good time. More importantly, consider the miraculous community we've built here over the last 7 months. 22 complete strangers brought together by the fates, living and working together in our own little paradise. And in all that time, not a single sin has been committed. No fights, no theft, nothing. Have you ever witnessed something so extraordinary as a city without sin? Nor could I until I came here. But the reason for this miracle is as simple as it is terrifying. If even one person commits a sin here, every last one of us will die. You see, the builders of this place, whoever they were, left inscriptions warning, "The many shall suffer for the sins of the one." From what we can gather, breaking the law here will anger the gods and provoke a terrible punishment. Like the curses of Medusa and Midas combined, turning us all to gold. We've come to call it the Golden Rule. It's extraordinary that we've survived as long as we have, and each day I grow more and more afraid that our time in the sun is almost up. And now it seems that day is finally here. All that matters is that somebody in this city is about to break the Golden Rule. Why else would Proserpina send you now? Unless you and I can stop them, our doom is assured. I know that's a lot to take in, and you look like you have questions. Please, ask away. Do you ever stare at a problem for so long that you can't see it for what it is anymore? What's needed here is a fresh pair of eyes. The less I prejudice the independence of your investigation, the better. Well, all right. There are those who wish to vote me out of office so that they can pursue their own misguided political agenda. Frankly, their selfishness and recklessness risk destabilizing the entire city. I would be looking very carefully at them if I were you. If I understand Proserpina's ritual correctly, that problem should take care of itself. Let me see if I can explain. If you manage to prevent the sin that breaks the Golden Rule, I won't need to bring you here. I won't create the portal, and you will never have been able to come here. Thus, you'll have created a paradox. If this occurs, you should be flung back to your own time, having changed the past for all of us. Make sense? Ah, good. So, are you with me? Can I count on you to figure out who's about to break the Golden Rule? Wonderful. Now, I need you to investigate the city, talk to everyone, help them if it'll win their trust. I authorize you to enter private homes and inspect possessions and documents, unless, of course, you're asked to leave. Figure out who the culprit is, and as soon as you have a name, come back and tell me immediately. Oh, and
jdeme vyšetřovat.
If I were you, I'd start my investigation by visiting Lucretia at the Shrine of Apollo in the Forum. I heard wailing from there not long ago. Seems like something's not right.
Ještě chvilku pokecáme.
Ah, you've returned. Do you have any news about your investigation? If I did, I'd have led these people out of here already. Of course. What is it? Are you sure you've spent enough time investigating to make that call? It seems to me you've barely had enough time to scratch the surface. It looks like you'll have to continue your investigation. Now, was there anything else you wanted to ask? Thank you. I'll be waiting here for news.
Pokud s tím tohle.
If you're
Ok, my se
snooping
podívám
around in my
tady.
possessions, you're wasting your time.
Ugh, I wish Horatius would stop letting barbarians in here. What do you want? Ugh, what is it with you people? You heard the rumor that my little sister escaped and figure I must know a way out too. Is that it? Well, that's just a stupid rumor. We have no idea what happened to Scintilla. I wish you mouth breathers would just leave me alone. I don't know. Can you? Can you tell me how a person could have disappeared from a city with no exits and no crime? Was she snatched away by the harpies? So you'll help me find her? Oh, thank you. You should probably take a look through her room. It's the one just by the front door. Maybe you'll find something the rest of us missed. Thank you. What have you discovered? What? Really? I swear, I searched her room top to bottom and never saw that. I wonder how I could have missed it. Strange, but well done, I suppose. But it's odd. It was only a few months ago that Scintilla's friend Yulia let slip she was planning an escape of her own. And yet, Yulia's still here. You should go and speak with her. Find out if she knows anything. She lives in the villa next door.
Ah, you've returned. Do you have any news about your investigation? You mean Duilius? Releasing him is out of the question, I'm afraid. That man is a liability we simply cannot afford. Perhaps you're not aware he was caught multiple times, sneaking around in places he should not have been. Ask then. An intelligent question. There was a good deal of debate about that in our first weeks here. Does it refer to crimes or to some other ill-defined wrong? Of course, everyone agrees on the basics. No theft, no assault, and certainly no murder. But beyond that, it was more difficult to reach a consensus. What about lying, insulting someone, blasphemy, trespass, trying to escape, bribery, infidelity, suicide? As magistrate, I had to exercise leadership, and so I made a decision. We must uphold the laws of the Empire to a standard never before seen. And we must honor the peace of the gods, the sacred accord between the gods and the people of Rome. It is only by offering the gods the proper respect that we may prosper, as Rome has for centuries. Barbaric? Barbaric? What are you talking about? The Empire is the most civilizing force in the known world. Rome is a beacon of light in the darkness. For 800 years she has borne great statesmen, philosophers, poets, artists, and engineers. We have comprehensive laws protecting the rights of our citizens, which have unified countless warring tribes all across the Mediterranean and beyond, from Gallia to Judea. All our citizens are treated the same, regardless of the color of their skin or their sexual preference. Can you say the same? When our people are starving, they are given food rations, and when they are wronged, they have the right to bring the guilty party before the magistrate. Our laws forbid treason, murder, assault, and rape, as well as theft and arson, and so on. No other civilization in the world is so advanced, and you have the hubris to call us barbaric? You mean the blasphemous cult responsible for burning down half of Rome?
Zeptáme se na křesťany.
It's hard to blame the people for being angry about that. Of course, but with fewer rights come fewer responsibilities, and the right to be protected by their fathers and husbands. Are you talking about our practice of decimation? Of course. We could hardly unite all these warring tribes without a disciplined, formidable legion. On occasion, but our gladiators are almost all volunteers seeking glory, or condemned prisoners who would have been executed anyway. I do not see the harm. Of course, what else would we do with those prisoners of war who would otherwise have been executed? And besides, there are laws for their protection as well. I have made my pronouncement on the subject. Unfortunately, there are still those here who resist, whispering blasphemous and treasonous lies in the shadows. I would be keeping a close eye on them if I were you. You see, in my search for a way to save my people, I learned of an ancient ritual to Proserpina, the goddess of the cycle of life and renewal. It's said to open a doorway in time, so that if the unthinkable happens, one person can pass through it and travel back to the past. And when I saw you arrive in a flash of light from the goddess's shrine, I knew that person was you. You don't belong in our time, do you? A pointless lie. Please, tell me, in your time, what did you see? What had become of us, of this city? Lie all you want, but I see the truth in your eyes. All I can tell you is that it's a ritual sacrifice to Proserpina. I stumbled across instructions. I have to recite a prayer, and of course, as with all rituals, some sacrifice is involved. Usually that means wine or food, or in some cases a live animal. In this case, the sacrifice is rather more costly. The life of the person performing the ritual. I don't suppose you saw any sign of me in the future? Ah, I assume that was me. If I'm forced to perform the ritual, it's going to cost me.
Ne, jako je hodně těch rozhovorů, jakoby angličtina mě docela ubíjí, ale...
Well, thank you for your candor, I suppose.
Dojdeme tyhle rozhovory a budeme končit dneska.
As for me, well, it pains me to say my attempts to impose order have not earned me many friends. I fear I may not even remain magistrate after today's election. The people here would only treat my curiosity with suspicion. You shouldn't have that problem, though, unless, of course, you get off on the wrong foot. You mean you couldn't speak Latin before you arrived here? How strange. But the gods are active here, and their temples and shrines hum with power like nowhere else in the Empire. Perhaps when Proserpina brought you here, she planted the seed of Latin in your mind so that you could better serve her. Indeed. Good. Now, was there something else you wanted to discuss? I've had plenty of time to think about it. Let me see if I can sum up my thoughts. I've always considered my guiding star to be the well-being of the Roman people. Our survival and prosperity have always hinged upon honoring the peace of the gods, the sacred accord between the gods and the people of Rome.
Tohle je hra, kterou nevím, jestli ti doporučuji na dokoukání, jako v lepším tom, ale je to hodně konverzační hra, jak si asi postřehla, Tersil. Jinak, jestli dorazíš příští týden na nějaký z těch streamů od 6 do 9, tak jestli budeš chtít, tak popovídám, protože mám fakt plno věcí, o kterých bych rád popovídal, ale víš, jak jsme se nestřetli, tak...
Helping protect civilization from the barbarians. I was elected 7 months ago, uncontested because of my command experience. Since then, there's been growing agitation for another election. They're supposed to be annual, but I agreed to hold it soon.
No, já vím, že tam máš ty. Ty, co vás začali hrát Minecraft a tak, no a tak. Nějak to zkusím vymyslet, aby tam bylo něco, o čem můžu kecat.
My men and I were at the Emporium in Rome as honor guard for a visiting dignitary arriving upriver by barge. Now the port is...
Já dřív čas mít nebudu, protože jedeme na výlet do Hoštic a tak. Hoštic.
They were trying to escape a terrible fight.
Jedeme na Tvarušky.
Unfortunately, the crowd sent my horse into a panic, and I remember it losing its footing by the water's edge. The next thing I knew, I was waking up on a riverbank not far from here in the company of some stranger. I went looking for my horse and discovered that lonely temple. You can probably figure out the rest. Very well. Thank you. I'll be waiting here for news.
Jo, tady budu končit. Na viděnou příště. Nějak si pokecáme třeba. Snad to vyjde příště. Když tohle mě ještě zajímá, tady někdo cvičí, to se ještě podívám.
What were you two talking about? Don't play dumb. I saw you. Having a shady little chat with old man Sentius up on his balcony. If he's making a last-ditch effort to pick up votes by talking to a woman, he's even more senile than I thought. Everyone knows women can't vote.
Okay. Tady končíme. Takže hezký zbytek večera. Přes týden jak nic nebude, jak říkám. Až v neděli. Pa.